Alec Baldwin gets a hold of a firearm. Unfortunately, one person's dead, another one's wounded. Hi, my name is Todd. I want to thank you for tuning back into the Untitled Chapter channel one more time to watch another one of my videos. And of course, I'm discussing Alec Baldwin, but more importantly, I'm discussing something else that is related to the incident that took place, and that is firearm safety. Now, for all those out there that shoot firearms, you know of the 4 basic rules of firearm safety. Assume every firearm is loaded. Never point the muzzle or the barrel of a firearm at anyone or anything unless you're ready to destroy it. Always keep your finger off the trigger until you're sighted in on your target and you choose to pull the trigger. And always be aware of what's behind the target. You're responsible for every round that you fire downrange. And those simple basic rules are enough to keep the vast majority of people safe when handling a firearm. I got a couple here to show you. One is the FN57. Just so you know, there are no rounds in this firearm. So there's a button on the side here that ejects the magazine. And as you can see, there are no rounds in the magazine. But that doesn't mean on a self-loader like this that the firearm is safe. Only way to know for sure is to pull the slide back and look inside the barrel. So this gun is completely safe. This is not a prop gun. Another one I will show you is a Mauser K98. This is a simple bolt-action rifle from World War II, and the way you check to see if this one is safe and no rounds are inside it is there's no rounds in the box magazine there, and there's no round up the barrel. Just so everybody knows, there's no one above me, there's no one to that side of me, there's no one to the ground, and there's no one to that side as well. Where I'm located, this firearm's completely safe. I'm not pointing the barrel at anybody. Right here, it's not pointed at anybody. Therefore, there's no chance being unloaded that this firearm can hurt, damage, maim, or kill, or destroy anything. There are several different firearms out there. There are the automatic loaders, like this one. Your other type of weapon, which is my understanding that Alec Baldwin used, which is one that I don't own, is a revolver. My understanding from what I have seen, it looks like the revolver he was using was a Colt single action army. Here's the thing, and here's the issue. And here's where my problem lies. He did not assume that every firearm is loaded. He violated the first rule of firearm safety. You assume every firearm is loaded until you have personally checked and verified that the weapon is safe. If I was on a movie set, yeah, there's armorers out there. If they handed me a loaded firearm or handed me a firearm which they say is safe, first thing I would do handling that firearm is check it myself. If it's an automatic loader like this guy, I'd remove the magazine, rack the slide back, and make sure it's completely clear, completely safe. If it's a revolver, I'm going to open up the revolver myself. If it's a single action army, I will eject every single round out of the cylinder to make sure the gun is indeed safe. Or at least check every chamber of the cylinder and make sure there's no blanks, make sure there's no actual live rounds. So that leads me to another problem. He didn't do that. He obviously didn't point the barrel in a safe direction or at something that he's willing to kill, maim, or destroy. Because had he followed just those two rules alone, the set director would be alive. The next problem, and this is something that seems to show up quite often with the Hollywood types, is many of them are anti-firearm. Many of them have no experience behind a firearm other than when they're on a set. And most of the time, the firearms they're using would be considered a prop gun. This is not a prop gun. This is an actual firearm. It can maim, kill, and destroy. Prop guns, generally speaking, are made from plastic, although this one is made of plastic, but it has metal in the slide. They're made completely of plastic. They can't shoot blanks. They can't shoot anything. They are, in fact, a completely dead gun. Think of it as like a Zach Nicotel from Stargate SG-1. Has absolutely no function, can't do anything until special effects puts it into the movie or the TV show. And that is why I'm upset over the news media calling the firearm that Alec Baldwin used that ended up killing the director of cinematography, Halyna Hutchins. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced the name. But had he followed those rules, she would be alive. That's the bottom of the line. But these Hollywood types just seem to hate guns. They don't want to be trained in them. They don't think you should have them. They don't think anybody should have them. But they want them for their movies. They want them for their shows. They need them for their movies. They need them for their shows. And I am not saying that they can't use an actual firearm, like if you're doing a World War II movie, utilizing a K98 as it was in a movie, or used in the time frame of the movie that you're doing. I have no problem if you use it. I have no problem if you pull a trigger and the rounds go off. I don't have a problem if you actually shoot live rounds on a set. But that set needs to be 100% safe, nobody downrange, and only then do you pull the trigger when the set or the range is completely clear. I understand you need to have something that's more live action, that makes a bang on the movie to make it realistic. I understand that, and that's why they use blanks. But again, there needs to be safety around these firearms. They are not props. They can maim and they can kill, and they should be treated with respect. Are they fun to shoot? Absolutely. Are they fun to shoot at targets? Absolutely. I enjoy going out and shooting targets with the firearms I own and I possess. But I treat them with respect. And before I ever pull the trigger, I completely make sure the range, downrange, is completely clear of anything that I'm not willing to kill, maim, or destroy. But they didn't want to follow those rules. Now, here's something to give advice for Hollywood. For those who are doing movies, a simple phone call to gun professionals to show up on your set and to make sure that every last firearm is deemed safe before use, that's a good thing. You might hate the NRA, but contact them. There's a whole lot of gun professionals with the NRA that I guarantee you would be willing to show up on your set and help you out when you're using actual firearms and not strictly prop guns that are made from plastic that can't shoot anything, including blanks. And you make sure they're on your set. Now, if that's too much to handle because you can't stand the NRA, then reach out to some of those that are on the YouTube community that have a whole lot of firearm experience and a whole lot greater than my own self with firearms. People like Eric and Chad from Iraq Veteran 8888. Jerry Michalik, one of the fastest fingers in the world. Tim from the Military Arms channel. the guys from Kentucky Ballistics, Matt from Demolition Ranch. There's a whole list of guys on YouTube that I would consider professional. I have a lot of experience. There's a whole lot of guys that you could have contacted. And I guarantee you, in most cases, these people would have been willing to show up on set to make sure that the firearms you're using in your movies are completely safe to prevent any accidental shootings. Now, with all that said, the fact that Alec Baldwin in his movie decided not to follow gun safety and remembering those 4 rules: assume every gun's loaded, always keep it pointed in a safe direction and only at that which you are willing to maim, kill, and destroy, always keep your finger off the trigger until you're willing to maim, kill, or destroy, and mind your surroundings and where that bullet's going. In other words, you ought to be aware of what is downrange. Had they followed those rules, Hutchins would be alive today. Had they made a phone call, any of those guys, I guarantee you would have been willing to come to your set to make sure that everything was safe when you're using a real firearm, because they are not props. Now, one last thing on this topic, and this has my hide chapped more than anything, is it looks like Alec Baldwin decided to shift the buck. In which way? Well, apparently he retweeted something, but I can't look at his tweets because I'm not part of him and I don't have his authorization to look at his tweets. All I can give you is what is being reported, and multiple sources from Fox to BBC News. He retweeted something that came from a story apparently from the New York Times. And what he retweeted is this: before he handed a revolver that he had declared cold to Alec Baldwin on the set of the film Rust, David Halls, assistant director, told a detective he should have inspected each round in each chamber according to the affidavit, but he did not. So Alec Baldwin retweets that, or tweets that. Why? I think it's because he's trying to cover his own hindquarters. That's it. He's trying to do the typical thing Democrats love to do and shift the blame to somebody else. Not my fault. He told me it was cold. Forgetting he's responsible for every time he pulls a trigger. Just as I am when I go out to the range and pull a trigger. No one else is responsible for that firearm going off, maiming, killing, and destroying that which is downrange other than myself. And yet here this guy is, somebody I've never liked in Hollywood. I've never really liked his movies. Only one movie he ever did that I actually liked, The Hunt for Red October, and I couldn't even stand the guy in the movie. With all that said, it is frustrating to see that we are living in the day and age where you blame somebody else for your own actions, just as Alec Baldwin's doing. And had they just simply followed gun safety protocol, the person wouldn't be dead today. Hutchins would be alive. And the other gentleman wouldn't have gotten wounded. But no. We're in the day of pass the buck and blame others. And here's something for everybody to chew over. If you're going to be on a set of a movie where there's going to be actual firearms and not prop guns used, how about take a gun safety course? How about going to an NRA, a sanctioned shooting range, and get training on proper safety? How to load the firearm, how to unload the firearm. Learning the 4 rules before you get on set to make your multi-million-dollar movie and make you look like such a big man or a big woman on the screen because you're pulling a trigger in the live action movie. Yeah, granted, I love live action movies like anyone else. I don't like the sappy chick flick movies. I like the action flicks. And I want the action flicks to be as real as possible. So how about you start bringing people on set that actually have knowledge in that which you are doing to make sure things are safe. It's just like these movies need to start getting things right. Not every car blows up every time it's involved in a car crash, but it sure looks cool on screen, so we keep doing it. They get stuff all the time wrong when it comes to things medical, including anything related to paramedics and EMS. Because why? They don't bother to bring actual people on set that know the job and have done the job. And here's a prime example where they should have brought somebody on set that knew firearms and knew firearm safety and taught Alec Baldwin the proper way to handle a firearm. Tell me what you think. Leave your comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Take care. God bless. We'll see you next time. If you've made it this far in my video, I sincerely thank you for taking time out of your day to watch the entirety of my video. If you like my content, please hit the like button and turn your bell on. You'll receive a notification anytime I post a new video. Also, if you wouldn't mind, hit the subscribe button. You'll find the link up here. And feel free to watch one of my other videos that I will have pointed over here. Thanks again for taking time out of your day. It really does mean a lot that you would spend part of your day and your valuable time to watch one of my videos. Take care. God bless. We'll see you next time.